Talk about a crusher. Yes! Oh!
Are you kidding me?
And gone!
Welcome back to the Schoolyard Sports Podcast. I'm the host of this podcast, Lane Frank. We're now episode 122. So 122 episodes through, and I got action-packed episode planned for you. We're going to break down NBA playoffs into the Eastern and Western Conference semifinals now. We obviously had the NFL draft this weekend. So much going on in the MLB. Stay tuned for an awesome episode 122. Let's hop into it. Let's start out episode 122, how we always do, with the headlines in the NBA. The Suns obviously won their series against the Los Angeles Clippers, but they're getting into some trouble right now against the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic obviously did not win MVP this year. Let me get that out of the way. Joel Embiid, 2023 MVP, well-deserved, but I think it means a little bit something more for Jokic. This is the first year in 3 years where he didn't win MVP, went back-to-back MVPs, couldn't win 3 in a row. The last player to not win 3 in a row after having back-to-back was Giannis Antetokounmpo. He had back-to-back MVPs, and they didn't win it that third season. But that third season, he won something more valuable, an NBA championship. Can we see that from Nikola Jokic this season? That's something I'm looking forward to. I'd love to see a smaller market team like the Denver Nuggets win the championship. And this might just be one of the greatest years to do it, with LeBron in the playoffs, with Golden State in the playoffs, all these good teams in the playoffs. I think it might be a great year for Jokic and Nuggets to cement their legacy and win an NBA championship. But that's besides the point. They're up 2-0 right now against Phoenix Suns heading into Phoenix. That's a great start for you right there. Obviously, Phoenix Suns embarrassed them a few years ago, going up 4-0 in that series to win it. This year, tables are turning a little bit. Could we see a 4-0 Nuggets sweep? We're just going to have to wait and see. Lakers, everybody, they took down the Memphis Grizzlies in 6 games, and that was awesome to see. Dillon Brooks get shut up. They're going to send him to maybe China. We'll see how that goes. Dillon Brooks, I hope he's out of the NBA. I've always hated Dillon Brooks ever since he hit a game winner against Michigan in that 2016 game. So I've always hated Dillon Brooks, and that's always going to be that way. Dillon Brooks, I just don't see him as a great player in the NBA. I think he's a good shooter. I don't see him much outside of that. I think he's a good college player. I don't see him as a good NBA player in any sort of way. I don't know where he fits in the NBA outside of the Memphis Grizzlies, and they're obviously going to dump him. But Lakers, that's a great win for you right there. Going up against the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors win that series in 7 games, being resilient after going down 2-0. I like it. Warriors, 3-0. They won that game. They win 4-3. That's a great series right there. Now you get the Los Angeles Lakers. That's going to be a fun series, 3 versus 6 matchup. Lakers versus Warriors. I'm excited for it. Knicks, obviously they took down the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's a great win for them right there in 5 games. Knicks, whole offseason, everyone's saying, Donovan Mitchell, get Donovan Mitchell, get Donovan Mitchell. Then he ends up going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Seems like another iconic Knicks moment where they don't get that superstar, and they're going to be tortured by a superstar for years to come. Well, let's turn around this time. Knicks tortured Donovan Mitchell. You know, I think if Donovan Mitchell was still on this New York Knicks team, this would be title contenders. Not saying the Knicks aren't title contenders, but I think this would be maybe a top 3 team in the NBA if they had Donovan Mitchell. Knicks, though, going up against the Miami Heat right now after they took down the Milwaukee Bucks. That was the first 8-1 upset we've seen in almost years. We're not counting, obviously, hockey. The series that was Florida Panthers taking down maybe the best team ever, Boston Bruins. We'll talk about that later. But Miami Heat taking down the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks need a little bit of a refresh. We're going to talk about that later on the episode. Miami Heat, that's a great win for right there. Jimmy Butler, I know they had a lot of turmoil going on during the season. Now they get a massive win for this franchise. Big for Jimmy Butler, big for Kyle Lowry, cementing their kind of superstar type of legacy, saying, Jimmy Butler, I'm not going to go out as an 8 seed. I'm going to win a series. Let's see if they can do it against the New York Knicks, win another one, head over to the Eastern Conference Finals for second straight season. They lost it last year to the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics going down 1 game right now to the Philadelphia 76ers, and that's without NBA MVP Joel Embiid. So that's a little interesting right there. Sixers were kind of down out in that game, down 111 to 107 with about a minute left, and then they win that game by 4. So a little bit of worry right here for Boston Celtics, in my opinion. Leave your thoughts on that in the comment section. That's about for the headlines in the NBA. NFL, we had a great weekend NFL draft. I'm going to talk about the picks I liked and the picks I didn't like in top 5. And then for Aaron Rodgers, we obviously saw him get traded over to the New York Jets. Talked about a little bit in the mock draft special last week. Go watch that, episode 121, mock draft special. Wasn't the greatest mock draft we've had, but it was an interesting NFL draft, and we're going to talk about that. But Aaron Rodgers, big deal in my opinion. Going to the New York Jets, kind of following in the footsteps of Brett Favre. I know everybody likes to say that, and everybody's excited to see Jordan Love have a great career with the Packers, and then eventually go to the Jets. I'm just kidding. That would be interesting, though. Aaron Rodgers going over to the New York Jets immediately makes them Super Bowl contenders, in my opinion. You have Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers. That's all you need in offense. Really excited for that right there. Fifth-year options going around the NFL right now. We see Tua Tagovailoa get his picked up, but we see other draft picks like Austin Jackson, Noah Bahigane, Chase Young get their fifth-year options decline. So fifth-year options, kind of a big thing going on in the NFL right now. It can cause an impact. Say you decline fifth-year option for a quarterback, and then they go and have a great contract season, and then they leave you the next offseason. That can be an issue for you right there. So fifth-year options, big decisions, in my opinion, in the NFL. Let's move to MLB. We had an interesting week out in the Diamond. Mets, obviously a little bit slumping right now. My favorite team, New York Mets, as most of you know, but a little bit slumping. Had that great series out in Oakland, had that great series out in LA. But without Max Scherzer because of the suspension, then you had the horrible series against the Braves. Don't close out that series well against Giants. You lose that series to the Nationals. Now you're going up in Detroit. Pete Alonso, still the MLB home run leader. You're probably going to get Justin Verlander back. That's a big sign for you right there. You're going to get Max Scherzer back in that Detroit series. Two former Tigers pitchers, I'm excited to see right there. Jordan Walker, top prospect in MLB this year, got to a great start, then got a little bit of a tiny slump in MLB, and the Cardinals are saying, hey, pack your bags, go back to AAA. Then what happens? He hits 5 home runs at AAA and you call him right back up, and they does the same thing in MLB. I don't know. I think you should just kept Jordan Walker up. You're not playing well anyways, St. Louis Cardinals, and we're going to talk about that. St. Louis Cardinals, not playing well in my opinion. Jordan Walker was not that issue. I think this was just a flurry of emotions saying, oh, we're not playing well, let's just send down the players who aren't playing well. And Jordan Walker is a part of that group. Jordan Walker got sent down AAA. Chicago White Sox, there's a lot of things going on there right now. You know, they have their manager getting ejected back-to-back nights. They have one of the worst records in MLB. I saw a thing the other day, it said, the Field of Dreams game, we thought that was the start of something new. Start of an amazing dynasty to come for Chicago White Sox. Not the best things to ever be. That was the best things ever going to be for the Chicago White Sox. And Tim Anderson hit that walk-off against the Yankees, and that was a great moment right there. Another team, Yankees slumping right now, division rival, Tampa Bay Rays, still on top of that MLB standings. Best record in the MLB, best record we've seen in years at this point in the season. I'm excited to see how the Rays finish out the season. Do they get to 110 wins? Leave your thoughts on that in the comments section. Let's close out the headlines with a little bit of NHL playoffs. We see the Islanders go down to Carolina Hurricanes. We see New York Rangers go down to the New Jersey Devils. We could have had a Rangers versus Islanders series if they both win their series. We don't get it, unfortunately. Colorado Avalanche, last year's NHL champions, they lose round 1. Seattle Kraken in their second year of being a franchise. And then the biggest news of all in the NHL, Boston Bruins losing in 7 games to the Florida Panthers. I saw a comparison to it. It's like if the 73-9 Warriors blew a 3-1 lead to the Anthony Davis Pelicans in 2017. That wasn't going to happen, and it did happen for, obviously, Boston Bruins. That didn't happen for the Warriors. It happened for the Boston Bruins. I think that was a perfect comparison for it. Boston Bruins, best regular season NHL team we've ever seen, and they failed. Still more to come. Schoolyard Sports Lane, Frank, episode 122. Now, take the week. This week's take the week, kind of correlating to that last time we just talked about the Boston Bruins in the NHL. I put it out on Schoolyard Sports Instagram. Go follow that at Schoolyard Sports for awesome sports news, content, and updates. But I said that the best regular season teams in all sports, college football, college basketball, NBA, NFL, MLB, they don't always win championships. It seems like more likely than not, they're not going to win a championship. Because Boston Bruins, this team, best regular season team we've ever seen in the NHL, and they couldn't even win out of the first round. Golden State Warriors, that team was 73-9, and yes, they finished second place, but if you finish 73-9, best record of all time in the NBA, you should be a lock to win a championship. They didn't. Best team in college basketball this year, regular season, they couldn't win the championship. That was probably Alabama. They ended up losing the Sweet 16, and we have a 4-seeded UConn win that championship. Let's take it 2021 college football season. You have a few unbeatens, and then you have Georgia winning it at 14-1. Not the best ranked team. They go in the playoff at number 2. So it's almost every sport now where we see these record-breaking regular season teams not winning a championship, and then you want to know why? Because it's not going to matter how you play in the regular season. You can say the Phoenix Suns last year, they're putting up crazy numbers in February against the Orlando Magic, getting all their stars not injured, but worn down by putting up 50 extra points against the Orlando Magic. Who cares if you win that game by 10 points? What cares more about if you can win those games in the playoffs, which they couldn't do in a 7-game series against the Dallas Mavericks. That's why they lost that series. I think they were a little bit worn down from that whole season. We see this year with the Boston Bruins. You blow a 3-1 lead. See, it's not how you finish in the regular season, in my opinion. I don't care if you win 60 games in the regular season. I think it matters more how you finish, how you win your games in the playoffs. It's always the same thing for everything. It's not how you start. It's how you finish. Couldn't see it with the Boston Bruins. Couldn't see it with the 73-9 Warriors. Couldn't see it with a lot of other sports teams. That's my take of the week this week. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Now, top 5. This week's top 5 is the top 5 moves from this year's NFL draft that I loved and I hated. So all kind of combined in one. I've got about 3 picks on here that I loved and 2 picks on here that I hated. So the moves from the NFL draft that I loved and I hated. Let's hop into it. Number 5, I love the way the Philadelphia Eagles approached this year's NFL draft. They didn't get Bijan Robinson. They didn't panic. They traded for DeAndre Swift, also a Georgia Bulldog. They got Keely Ringo, Georgia Bulldog. I think he can be a Pro Bowler in his NFL career. I was stunned to see him on the board day 3. Keely Ringo, as you know, infamous pick 6 to win the national championship in 2022. Jalen Carter, best player in this year's NFL draft, falls to the second best team in the NFL. Those are great moves. Nolan Smith, I love the way the Eagles approached this year's NFL draft. They're number 5. Number 4, I hated the way the Bears approached this year's NFL draft. Okay, you made a good trade. You traded down from pick 1 to pick 9 a few months ago. That's all good. You were probably going to take Jalen Carter at that pick number 1, if not Will Anderson, but it was probably going to be Jalen Carter at that pick number 1. You had a pick 9, and Jalen Carter was still sitting for you there. You could have had the biggest steal of the century. You could have walked away with that many first-round picks and Jalen Carter, the guy you were going to take at number 1 originally, and not get any of those picks from the Panthers. And you traded that pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. You want to trade that pick to a conference rival, to a team that is going to be a dynasty for years to come. And I know you want to be a dynasty, Chicago Bears. You're going to have to go through them. You're going to have to go through Jalen Carter for the next 10 to 15 years now. I hate that move. I despise it. You could have had Jalen Carter with that number 9 pick. After all these months of the trade down, when you could have had him at number 1, and now you're sitting here at number 9, it's like the movie Draft Day. Oh, I'm so surprised this guy's still here at pick number 9. Let's take him. They didn't do that. Chicago Bears failed their city. Darnell Wright's a good player. You could have gone by pick number 27, and I don't doubt that. That's where I had him going. That's ridiculous. Darnell Wright is a good player. He's not a top 10 overall pick. Jalen Carter's top 10 overall pick. You would have gone away scot-free, absolutely amazing steal of the draft. Getting Jalen Carter at pick 9. That's my little rant right there. That's number 4. I hate the way the Bears did that with Darnell Wright and Jalen Carter. I'm not hating on Darnell Wright. I'm hating on the Bears for not taking Jalen Carter at that pick number 9, trading that pick over to the Philadelphia Eagles. I hated it. Number 3, I loved the Quentin Johnson and Bijan Robinson moves. These are 2 teams, the Chargers and the Falcons, that need some more playmakers. Arthur Smith said, I was great in Tennessee because I had a great running back. Now I go over to Atlanta. I had a busted up Todd Gurley for about a month, then he retires. I had Tyler Algier, who I gave a lot of carries to, but he wasn't so great. I need a playmaker. I'm going to go get Bijan Robinson, the best running back in this year's draft class. Best running back I've ever evaluated, my personal opinion, outside of Saquon Barkley. So that's good for you right there. You get your playmaker. And the Chargers, there were too many Chargers games this year where I saw they don't have a great tight end. They didn't address that issue this draft, but Quentin Johnson plays like a tight end at some points. He could be a Kelvin Benjamin for you. I love the way Quentin Johnson plays. He's a great playmaker. Can be the next Mike Williams or better. So that's a great wide receiver trio for you right there. And he can mix Josh Palmer in there. So you got Keenan Allen, Josh Palmer, Mike Williams, and Quentin Johnson. That's great for you right there. I love the way those 2 teams approach their draft. Chargers and Falcons, their first round picks. That's number 3. Number 2, I hated the moves the Arizona Cardinals made in the first round. Yeah, pick number 3. Just take Tyree Wilson with that number 3 overall pick. They didn't. They traded it over to the Houston Texans. Okay, you move down to pick number 11. And then you move up to pick number 6 to draft Paris Johnson Jr. when you could have had the best player in the draft, Jalen Carter. But Paris Johnson Jr. is not the best offensive lineman in this draft class. And he was not worth a top 6 overall pick. You could have had him at pick number 11, in my opinion. You could have. I don't doubt that. Paris Johnson Jr. was not worth the top 6 overall pick. You could have got somebody better. You could have done so many better things in this year's NFL draft outside of drafting Paris Johnson Jr., trading up after trading down to get Paris Johnson Jr. at pick number 6. This is just an arrogant, interesting move, in my opinion. Paris Johnson's a young player. I don't like that move at all. I don't think he was worth a top 7 overall pick, top 6 overall pick. Arizona Cardinals did that. I hated that move. That's number 2. And number 1 to round it out. I loved the Texans moves. CJ Stroud, it's an interesting move. You don't take Will Anderson, but hey, you want a franchise quarterback, you got your franchise quarterback, and then you trade up to get Will Anderson Jr. You still have a first-round pick for next year from a few other trades, so I love it right there. Houston Texans getting out of that Bill O'Brien type of era, moving into their new era with D'Amico Ryans, outside of David Culley, outside of Lovie Smith, getting Will Anderson Jr., getting C.J. Stroud, setting yourself up nicely for the future. Losing a first-round, a second-round pick for this year, next year is not going to burn you that much in the long run when you can have a perennial Pro Bowler in Will Anderson and a franchise quarterback in C.J. Stroud. I loved it. That's my top 5. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Now, did you know, this week's Did You Knows, did you know Russell Wilson, the Denver Broncos quarterback, was drafted ahead of Aaron Judge, Chris Bryant, and Jacob deGrom in the 2010 MLB draft. Let me say that again. Russell Wilson, your Denver Broncos quarterback, was drafted ahead of All-Star, maybe the greatest talented pitcher of all time, Jacob deGrom, NL MVP Chris Bryant, and AL MVP Aaron Judge. He was drafted ahead of those guys in the MLB draft. Russell Wilson was a baller back in his MLB days, but he got drafted above these guys to not even play a single at-bat in the MLB. Did you know that? Leave that in the comment section. That's Baffert. Did you know this week? Let's do a little Milwaukee Bucks Spotlight airplay. Milwaukee Bucks, obviously they got ran out of town in that first round series against the talented Miami Heat. And this is an example of the Miami Heat underperforming in the regular season just to hop in at that 8th seed, losing in the play-in to the Atlanta Hawks. Because if they have that 7th seed, they're definitely losing the Boston Celtics, in my opinion. But you got to go up against Milwaukee Bucks, maybe an easier matchup, in my opinion, because you can knock out Giannis Antetokounmpo off the court and on the court. Obviously gets injured, and then doesn't play so great on the court, only wins 1 game on the court after missing 3 games in that series. But Jimmy Butler turns into basically Jimmy Butler, plays great in that series, 56 points in 1 game. Jimmy Butler, best player in the NBA playoffs, you could say right now, but that's besides the point. Nobody could guard him on that Milwaukee Bucks squad. Chris Middleton has always been a good shooter, not really a great defender in my opinion. Drew Holiday can't keep up with the 6'7" guard like Jimmy Butler. Kyle Lowry, great point guard, he can eliminate Drew Holiday on offense. Max Strus, great 3-point shooter, he can kind of eliminate Chris Middleton a little bit. So that's what happened right here with the Milwaukee Bucks. They need a little bit of a refresh. They need more stars, in my opinion, to complement Giannis Antetokounmpo. Maybe you get a Jaylen Brown. I don't think the Celtics ever do that, but never know. Maybe in 10 years, 5 years down the way, you can look at Luka Doncic. That's not the wildest comparison right there. Say he gets absolutely fed up with Dallas. He wants to go over to Milwaukee, play with maybe the best player in the world, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think another one you could throw in there, Damian Lillard, that could be a very good possibility. That could happen this offseason. Even Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, Giannis Antetokounmpo, those are 2 of the most explosive players in the NBA. That could be a good duo. So, and they were just missing one piece right there. Got great role players, but not going to keep up when you go up against Jimmy Butler without Giannis Antetokounmpo. Need to adjust without Giannis Antetokounmpo. It was a great regular season for the Milwaukee Bucks, but now you enter in that territory where if you don't have a successful season next year, if you don't make the Eastern Conference Finals next year, there's some trouble. I don't think any of this is on Mike Budenholzer. Obviously, Mike Budenholzer, a great NBA championship-winning head coach, but Milwaukee Bucks need a little bit of a refresh. In my opinion, that's about for the Spotlight this week. Let's go around the bases in the MLB now. Around the bases, right now, we're 1 month through the MLB season. Welcome to May. Trevor May's month, you could say. Great month for MLB. One of the best times MLB all year, you could say. Really, MLB viewership is up so much. I like watching MLB in May because there's NBA playoffs going on, and then you can flip over to MLB games. That's interesting right there. So let's do hot takes 1 month through the MLB season around the bases. These are my MLB hot takes 1 month through the season. First one, Luis Arraez is a force at the plate, and he could be the first player since Hank Aaron to bat 400. He doesn't seem to be slowing down. Now he batted 600 the first 2 weeks, then 500. Now he's back to 450. But Luis Arraez, batting champion in the AL last year, now he could win maybe MVP. And then this year, serious force, in my opinion, Luis Arraez. Look out for him. He could be that first player to bat 400 since Hank Aaron. Leave your thoughts on that in the comment section. Fernando Tatis Jr. is showing that he is not a long-term thing for the San Diego Padres. He's replaceable, in my opinion. Say you come up to contract time. Well, we already have Xander Bogaerts. We need to give Juan Soto a contract. We want a guy like Shohei Ohtani. What are we going to do with this $300 million guy contract, Fernando Tatis Jr., when he goes 1 for 5 every game with maybe 1 home run every week? I don't know about that. Even not even every week. If you can hit 30 home runs this season, Fernando Tatis Jr., okay, you're going to be long-term. But say you want Shohei Ohtani. Say you want Juan Soto long-term. Say you want to keep Xander Bogaerts. All these guys. I think Fernando Tatis Jr. is a little bit of that all-man out. I would take Shohei Ohtani or Fernando Tatis Jr. $300 million contract any day of the week. So that's an interesting one right there. Fernando Tatis Jr. in San Diego. Not sure it's a long-term thing. Even though that contract, don't let it fool you. I don't know if it's a long-term thing. Fernando Tatis Jr., AJ Preller certainly showed some frustration to Fernando Tatis last season with the suspension. Now this season, not playing so great up in San Diego. Next one, Pete Alonso is the MVP of the NL 1 month through the season. Playing great, MLB home run leader. Happens every season for Pete Alonso. Really hits the ball well in the hotter months, say April, May, and then slows down a little bit in the summer. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes for the rest of the season with Pete Alonso. Let's see how he does in the playoffs. If the Mets can make the playoffs for the second straight season, Pete Alonso, force to be reckoned with like Luis Arraez. Those are the top 2 NL MVP candidates, in my opinion, so far. Pete Alonso, top in the standings, though. Next one, Garrett Cole looking like the MVP of the AL. Not just the Cy Young, the MVP. There isn't some heavy hitter going crazy in the AL right now. You could say Brent Rooker, but I don't know about that one. Aaron Judge not going to hit 62 home runs again this season. But Garrett Cole, looking like a force to be reckoned with, you could say, on that mound. Striking out hitters, so many quality starts, 1.11 ERA, undefeated record. Garrett Cole looking like an MVP, not just a Cy Young, an MVP in that AL standings. Next one and the last one. The Cardinals are still an elite squad, talent-wise, but they're not playing so great on the field. You only have 11 wins right now, I think. That's not a great record. You're below 500. Jordan Walker can be a good player for you in future years. You still have MLB MVP candidates, Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, obviously won NL MVP last year. Those are the top two finishers last year. You have great pitcher Jordan Hicks, Jack Flaherty, Giovanni Gallegos. This is just an interesting squad, in my opinion. Ryan Helsley, Oliver Marmol, manager. So it's interesting. Cardinals, I thought they should have done a little bit better in the playoffs last year. They got knocked out by the NL champions Philadelphia Phillies in that wild card round. But Cardinals, still a good squad, still a lot of talent on this team. Look for them heat up in the next months, summer months. Look for them heat up in those months. Let's see how Jordan Walker can do when he gets called back up, because he will get called back up. Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt. Let's see how these guys adjust. I think WBC can be a little bit of blame for that. Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado both did WBC. That could be a bit of the blame for that. That's about for around the base this week. MLB Hot Takes. Now, my GM hat, everybody. Let's hop into it. My GM hat this week, we're going to talk about the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies obviously get knocked out round one against the Los Angeles Lakers after having a very successful playoffs last year, going 6 games with Golden State Warriors. So let's talk about John Morant. Chaos all season long. Jaren Jackson Jr. really this solid brick for this team, winning Defense Player of the Year. But what I see, couple people I'm talking with, what they see with the Memphis Grizzlies is that they don't have a true center. Steven Adams is a good center, but he doesn't really fit that whole mold. I think Kenny Lofton Jr. can fit that mold. He's got the size. He can shoot the ball. Jaren Jackson isn't a pure scorer at heart. He's a defender. That's why he won Defense Player of the Year and can win Defense Player of the Year again next year. So I think you just need more true defenders on the squad outside Jaren Jackson Jr. and more pure shooters on the squad outside of John Morant. You could say he's only a scorer, and they scores horribly in that Game 6 against the Los Angeles Lakers, but then he goes off in that Game 4, even though they still lose that game, goes 21 straight, I think, in the fourth quarter. So John Morant can be that great scorer for you. He can be that rock with Jaren Jackson Jr., but you need to plug someone else in there. Desmond Bane's great, so you don't really need another three-point shooter. You're losing Dylan Brooks. I think Dylan Brooks would really take a step back this series if Luke Kennard was healthy, so bring Luke Kennard back next year. Max Strus is free agent. Maybe get Max Strus from the Miami Heat. So a lot of things to be figured out Memphis Grizzlies right now. I think you would attack that solution. Again, maybe more players than just outside of 3-and-D. That's what Dylan Brooks said he was limited in Memphis, just being a 3-and-D type player. I think Taylor Jenkins, definitely the right guy for this job, and then get some good things going. Maybe even look at Ben Simmons. Don't call me crazy. Ben Simmons still has some talent in him. Jaylen Brown, I think that's out of the equation. Maybe Nikola Vucevic, he's a free agent this offseason, so never know. Memphis Grizzlies, a lot of issues to be hashed out this offseason. Those are just my thoughts, my opinions, my GM hat this week. Now, this set for this week. You know what this set is? We pick 2 players from, it can be NFL, MLB, NBA, mash them up against each other. So first one would be Jordan Love or Will Levis. Would I rather have Jordan Love or Will Levis if I was the Packers GM or something like that? We could have Jalen Brunson or Donovan Mitchell. That's what this or that is. Really just picking one player. We're going to mash it up between a few sports, MLB, NFL, and NBA. Let's hop into it. First one, like I said, Jordan Love or Will Levis. I'm going to take Jordan Love, but if I was the Packers, I'm sitting at that second round pick, maybe even first round pick, let's say, pick number 15, 13, and you say, Will Levis is still on the board. Do we go for a guy like Will Levis, or do we rat it out with Jordan Love, who's been in our system for a few years? They're ratting out with Jordan Love, but if they took Will Levis, that could have been a baller move. That could have been an interesting move. Maybe the next Aaron Rodgers. I think they should have explored that option a little bit more, in my opinion. They gave Jordan Love that 1-year extension, but that could have been pretty cool. Will Levis out in Green Bay. I wouldn't have opposed that. I still think Jordan Love has talent. I'm excited to see what he does in his career in Green Bay. First full season starting, upcoming, but right now, I think I would have to say Will Levis in that matchup. Bryce Harper or Juan Soto. These two guys, kind of Juan Soto was the predecessor to Bryce Harper in Washington after Bryce Harper left. Juan Soto, kind of stuck up for that team, won the World Series, stayed with them for a few years, and then heads over to San Diego. If I had to pick right now one guy, let's say it's Game 7, World Series, I'm taking Juan Soto. I don't care about that Bryce Harper home run last year. I still think Juan Soto is still an amazing player, can draw a walk, can draw a home run, can do whatever he wants, any at bat. Been a bit of a slump since he came over to San Diego, but trust, I saw a video on the internet, 8U Dominican team kind of praying for Juan Soto and San Diego Padres do well. You can look that up, but let's hope Juan Soto can do well this season with San Diego Padres, get that OPS up a little bit, get that average up a little bit. Right now, I'm thinking Juan Soto over Bryce Harper. Joel Embiid or Giannis Antetokounmpo. Joel Embiid got his first MVP. Giannis Antetokounmpo has 2 MVPs. Maybe Joel Embiid gets his first championship this year. Giannis Antetokounmpo already has 1 championship. So that becomes a real debate. I'm still going to take Giannis, but that can become a real debate. Who's the best player in the Eastern Conference? Joel Embiid or Giannis Antetokounmpo? Maybe even the best player in the world. Leave your thoughts on that in the comment section. Last one to round it out, or you brought up earlier, Jalen Brunson or Donovan Mitchell. Jalen Brunson, the big free agent Knicks got this offseason, or Donovan Mitchell, the big trade target they wanted this offseason. They could have had both. They only ended up with Jalen Brunson. But right now, I'm taking Donovan Mitchell. Even though Jalen Brunson, great point guard, one of the best point guards in the NBA, I just think as an impact-wise, Donovan Mitchell is better. You can call me crazy. I don't care that Jalen Brunson won that series to the New York Knicks. I'm a New York Knicks fan. Die hard. I still think Donovan Mitchell is better. I still think New York Knicks are a top 3 team with Donovan Mitchell. You can debate me on it. You play them one-on-one. You can do anything. I think in the long run, it might just be Donovan Mitchell. Jalen Brunson, great point guard, like I said. But I think skill-wise, talent-wise, I'm always going to take Donovan Mitchell in that matchup. Leave thoughts on that in the comment section. That's power for this week. Now, best for last at the buzzer. This week's at the buzzer are the Oakland Athletics, soon to be Las Vegas Athletics, the worst run franchise in sports all time. I think this is a true debate. Yes, they have a World Series, which a lot of other MLB franchises can't say, but are they worst run MLB franchise right now? I saw a stat that Bryce Harper has hit a home run more recently than Oakland Athletics starter has won a game. They're 0-15. They're starters. Oakland Athletics starters are 0-15 on the season. Not one singular win by an Oakland Athletics starter. You go through their rotation, you're not going to see one win, not even one single digit that isn't 0 in that win column. That's ridiculous in my opinion. Shintaro Funajami, they thought he would be great coming over from Japan. They moved him to the bullpen before 1 month of the season even ended. So Oakland Athletics, a lot of things to hash out. I don't know if it all just magically goes away when they move to Las Vegas. It's going to be a long road to Las Vegas Athletics. Could be Oakland Athletics even after this, because they're probably going to lose their stadium after this season or after next season, and then their stadium's not going to be built in Vegas until 2027, so you may have to go over to the AAA stadium in Las Vegas. That's where their affiliate is, Las Vegas Aviators, and play there. If you have an MLB team playing a horrible AAA ballpark like the Las Vegas Aviators ballpark, I don't know what's wrong with this franchise. Las Vegas Athletics, Oakland Athletics, whatever you want to call them, are they the worst run franchise in sports? Leave thoughts on that in the comment section. That's about for that, the buzzer this week. Now, let's round it out. Question of the day. This week's question of the day is, did Joel Embiid deserve that MVP win over Giannis Antetokounmpo or Nikola Jokic? Can be debate up there. Those are the 3 finalists. Giannis Antetokounmpo could have won his 3rd MVP. Nikola Jokic could have won his 3rd straight MVP. And now we have Joel Embiid winning MVP. So Nikola Jokic said, I have no interest caring who wins NBA MVP this season, because I think this season he really feels like he's the title shot. And I really feel like this is Denver Nuggets' best shot at a title this season. Or you're up 2-0 on the Phoenix Suns, win 2 more games, win 2 more series, and you're NBA champions. So that's my thoughts right there. That's my question today. Did Joel Embiid deserve MVP this season over Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo? Leave your thoughts on that in the comment section. That's about for question of the day this week. That's about for Schoolyard Sports Lane Frank, episode 122. Thank you for tuning in. Follow Schoolyard Sports on Instagram at Schoolyard Sports. Follow Schoolyard Sports on Twitter at Schoolyard Sport. Follow Schoolyard Sports on TikTok at Schoolyard Sports. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review for the best sports content in the world. We'll be back next week, episode 123. Stay tuned.